Okay, great. All right, so welcome to my session. Today is the August 26th, Monday, 2:36 p.m. PST. So today we will cover the purchase order process. So I'm sure some of you already know the purchase order process, familiar with this already, right? So in SAP, what they do, okay, when they do it in SAP, it starts with MM model, okay? It starts with procurement happens in materials management model where they identify what they need to buy and then they procure. When they procure, just to give an little overview how they procure it, why do they procure it, when they procure it, what are they going to do with the materials? All this come from their APO, Advanced Planning Optimizer. That's where they forecast next year how much they are going to sell the finished goods. Okay, they collect from the market, all the market coordinators and account managers, and say this is how much I am going to manufacture, I'm going to sell next year. If they get all the sales volume for next year, and they will pass it on to the Advanced Planning Optimizer, and the APO will take the data and do a lot of statistical modeling and said which factory will manufacture what and when. Okay, because let's say there's 1,000 component, 1,000 finished goods a big company sells, and that they put everything in this APO, and APO will churn out the data and say that this is what I am going to manufacture in each plant. A plant A, you manufacture this. A plant B, you manufacture because your capacity is this much. And plant C, you're strategically located in the center of USA, and you can feed to these customers, right? And you are surrounded by distribution centers. So they have all this APO, in a very nutshell. And then after that, they put this, when they finalize which plant produces what, they load the data into production planning. So production planning is another big module in SAP, which is actually used for technical and production. They call it TNP, or production planning, in which where they use this PP model in order to um, manufacture the finished goods. So when they manufacture finished goods, typically what happens, right? So you have a rough estimate of what you're going to manufacture, not a rough estimate. You have a clear idea of what you're going to manufacture, your finished goods, which is called bill of material, right? So let's say take a company, they manufacture water bottles. Okay, so water bottles, they don't manufacture one. Based on the factory capacity, so they manufacture maybe like 10 million per shift, which works out to be number of shifts times number of days time, maybe like 100 million water bottles per month. So in order to manufacture 100 water bottles per month, they have to calculate the cost. How much I am going to incur when I am going to manufacture. I'm running my industry factory the full capacity. How much I can manufacture in one shift, right? That's called production lot. In a factory, they call it production lot, right? Production lot is basically tells you in how much quantity they can manufacture in one go, or in one machine, or one assembly line. They call it assembly line as well. Okay, so from the start in the morning, 8 hours a day, maybe 2 shifts or 3 shifts. First thing, what happens? They take the raw material, maybe plastic granules for the plastic bottles, right? It goes through some process and process and process and process. In between, they add more raw materials. They add machine cost, right? Depreciation, because the machine is running, and then there's a manpower who is basically running these machines, or fixing it, pushing it, or whatever it is they're doing it. So all this cost gets captured in the assembly line, right? Production process. So once they manufacture the finished goods, so they will settle the cost, all the costs. They collected all the costs that incurred in the manufacturing process. They settle this to the final material. Then your final material will have the cost, right? However, before even manufacture, they will not blindly go and do it, correct? So they have a standard cost. They have a standard estimate. So for example, let me give an example. So I always give the biryani as an example, okay? Um, so I know we are family. Let's say we are family. Just take not me, somebody, Mr. Kumar. So Mr. Kumar has a family, and he is having a birthday party. His daughter's birthday party, whatever it is. Okay. Now he's inviting 100 people. Now he is telling his wife. Let's say not his wife. He's preparing himself. Okay. So why should we ask my wife to make a biryani, right? So let's say he's planning. Okay, I'm going to invite 100 people. I'm going to invite 100 people for my birthday party. Okay, how much? What is my cost? Correct. In a hotel, in a people running a restaurant, okay, when they make they have to have a standard cost estimate for even a single dosa they make, or a plate of biryani they make. correct? Otherwise, they cannot run the business. So how do they estimate the cost, correct? So first thing you need to know is there's something called, because things changes. I understand that. So you want to say things changes, right? It could be dependent on, what's the capacity, the commodity price changes, right? Your worker may take a day off and whatnot. The utility expenses will go up. Sometimes there may be a power cut, the water shortage, right? How do you estimate the cost? So let's say even estimate the cost, how would you make sure, what's the guarantee that it will remain the same? Because there's a lot of variables, right? So far clear? Any questions?
It's clear.
Okay. I know I'm running fast because I'm just trying to give you a rough idea of it's a very, very, very brief idea before we get to the procurement. Okay. I like to tell stories. I'm a storyteller, so I cannot just jump in between and tell you this is what happened. I wanted to give you some at least basic idea how the company operates, right? So that you can expand your thoughts. Now, when you wanted to make a biryani, the Kumar has to estimate the cost, correct? Because he has to budget from his salary, correct? So similarly in the restaurants, before they manufacture, because I'm setting up a restaurant, I need to know how much it will cost to make one biryani, correct? I know the price I can sell because it's industry standard. Everybody sell for $12.99. I can maybe do for $12 or $11.99, $10.99, $9.99, $10.99, whatever it is, right? But I still need to know the cost. Maybe my cost will be like $12.99. Now I sell it for $8.99. What happened to my overheads? Who's going to pay for the worker's salary? My manager's salary, shop owner's salary, the shop manager, the floor manager's salary. There's a lot of things, right? Tax. Okay, so in finance, there's no free lunch. Everything has to be calculated, right? Even the risk is quantified and calculated, right? Everything is calculated. You have to put some numbers to anything that you do, right? If you cannot measure, you don't know what you're doing, correct? You cannot measure anything, that then you cannot measure your progress, right? So in finance, everything has to be measured, right? Hi, Saravanan. Hey, Saravanan. I think you are on. You're probably not on this phone yet. Okay, that's fine. All right.
All right. Hello.
Hey, Saravanan, can you go on mute, please? All right, I muted you. So what I was telling first, what I was trying to say is the standard cost, the cost estimate for anything that you do. How your factories, how your companies, how you estimate estimate their cost before they even manufacture, right? So for example, to build a water bottle, what do you need? They need plastic, they need granules, they need a cup, they need sleeves, they need
Hey,
rings, they need a capsule, they need a
Karun.
whatnot. They need a lot of things. Okay. Saravanan, do you hear us? Saravanan? Hello? I don't know. I think I can. So you guys hear him, right?
Yes. I'm hearing.
Okay. You didn't say yes. So can you go on mute? There's a lot of background noise.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
Great.
Jay, can you ask a question?
Please.
So here you're saying that all the estimate, even in the real time, should be very accurate, or it can be.
That is why they pay so much money to the costing managers,
Okay,
the
so it
controllers,
should be
right? It has to be accurate.
okay.
So how they can make it accurate, that is what you have to look at it, right?
Okay. Yeah.
What are the possible ways they can make it accurate? Because when they say, can you make ballpark, everything is a ballpark. I can pretty much give a piece of paper and say this is a ballpark, right? They don't want to do that, right? You have to strive hard, you have to calculate, you have to establish a proof that this is what the exact cost, right? Right? Correct?
Yes.
Okay. Is Saravanan, do you hear us? Hello?
Yes.
Saravanan, you can turn off the video. I think it might take your,
Yes.
okay. It's not that we don't want to see you, but it just takes,
The
probably
video.
takes,
Oh, okay.
yeah, you can turn off your video, okay? Because you're moving around, so it just lingering, people here on the call. Okay. So that's a good point. How you can make it very accurate? That is very important, right? So you take the cost of raw materials. That's why you have to look at the production lot. How much a factory can manufacture in one assembly line? Maybe 10 million bottles. Okay, let's take 10 million bottles and cost. How much is going to cost for making a 10 million bottles? Take as much as plastic you need, not as much as engineers can tell you, right? And then how much? Let's say you have a plastic and somebody has to bend the plastic or burn the plastic or do some whatever they need to do. And what is the cost of the labor? And they have to use some machines or tools, whatever it is, and what is the cost of it, right? In ideal situation, right? I know things changes. Everything in the perfect world, how much would it cost? Okay, so then they estimate the cost. That is called ideal costing. In SAP or in standard costing, it's called standard costings. Or in a costing, if you've been to costing classes, costing sessions, or costing courses, you will know what is called standard costing or ideal costing. So ideal costing means in an ideal situation, how much would it cost to make one plate of biryani, correct? Now to make a biryani, now you can estimate the cost. Okay, when you estimate the cost, you have to take into account everything that goes into your plate, right? Until final stage, cost of goods manufactured, cost of goods sold, right? Everything that goes into the biryani becomes your cost of goods manufactured. Now, you can take things from your shelf. You can buy from outside, right? Now, I'm just trying to tell you a story from where this demand originates. From the sales forecast to demand planning or supply planning to production planning to procurement. Okay, now you're doing a production planning. Okay, so how much I need, what do I need, when do I need, all this stuff. Correct? I have a standard cost. This is an ideal situation. This is what my cost is. When you actually make it, it might change, right? You might end up adding more raw materials, less raw materials. On that day, the labor could be very efficient and you save you save some money on the labor, right? And then, maybe you use less water, less ghee, less, obviously not rice, less, not chicken, right? Something would turn out better without maybe less yogurt, right? You still get the same quality and quantity of biryani. Things change, but ideal situation, how much yogurt you would need, how much ghee you would need, how much all the masalas you would need, right? All this go into your standard cost. Now Kumar is planning to make biryani for 100 people, right? Now what do you need? He needs, let's say, 50 bags of rice, probably not 20 bags of rice. Now 20 bags of rice, he may have 10 bags of rice in his shelf, right? In his pantry. That is his stock. That is his inventory, right? But he wants more 10 bags. So what he's going to do is going to order the procurement department and say that, hey, I need so-and-so bags of rice, pounds of rice. The procurement department will order 10 pounds of rice for him, correct? And then anything he needs, chicken, whatever it is he needs, he's going to order. Now, when he order, that means the procurement department will create a purchasing order, right? And they will source, for example, before procurement, there's something called sourcing. In big companies, there's at least 500, 600 people working in sourcing department. What do they do? Right? What do they do? For example, Starbucks.
Yeah, they try to find who are all supplying the.
Right.
They will list down all the vendors who are supplying the required goods, who are having those raw materials.
Well, sourcing means they go out the entire world and said where they can buy, right?
Yeah.
So coffee, Starbucks. So they have people everywhere. They can go to Colombia, they can go to Arabia, they can go to whatever places, and they can source where I can get coffee seeds cheaper and where I can enter a deal taking into account my commodity, hedging, risking, foreign exchange currencies, everything taking into account, including the upcoming war between China and US, potentially trade war. They take everything into consideration and say they negotiate deals like Trump. They said, okay, hey, for next 3-4 years, you are going to supply coffee pots or coffee seeds to me. Okay, that's what they do. Then they put in the catalog and shelf it. Okay, you want a coffee? You want to buy a coffee, you want to buy sugar, go from this, take all these vendors and talk to them. That's called sourcing, right? Then comes purchasing. So when you place an order saying that, boss, I need so and so material, then procurement department will go and look at the catalog and say which vendor supplies what, and then they issue a purchase order. Okay. Again, when you come to SAP, you have to think in really big scale. But end of the day, it's just common sense, right? You can scale. If you're making a glass of coffee, it's manufacturing, it's a processing, right? The raw materials goes into this. There's a raw material, there is a processing, there is a labor, everything goes into this. And then you have a finished cup of coffee, not a finished cup of coffee, finished goods, right? Right? And in finance, everything has a value. I mean, everything has a value. In finance, everything has a quantifiable value. So next time you drink a cup of coffee, think about it. What goes into this? Can you cost your coffee? Of course you can, right? It's simple allocation process, right? You take the 1 bag of sugar, how many spoons you take, tablespoons or teaspoons, divide them, take the cost, add your gas that you spent to go to the grocery store and buy, and what are the things you bought, again divide it, allocate it to all the products that you bought, right? That's exactly what the allocation process is, right? That's how you take the cost, execute the cost. So SAP will help you. Okay. Now, when you make a biryani, there are a couple of things you can do. You can use the things from your shelf, or you can also place an order. When you place an order, okay, the things are going to come into your warehouse, which is your pantry or your shelf, right? And then you take it and directly issue to the production, which is issued to the kitchen where biryani is made. That's called post goods issue, right? So first thing is you buy raw material, like let this case, rice, yogurt, vegetables, and chicken, or blah blah blah, all this stuff. Okay, first of all you buy them, and it is called procurement, right? Then you receive to the warehouse, which is your pantry or the fridge, refrigerator. Then you store them. Okay. Then what next you do? You work out your manpower. How much cost? How much you're going to take a day off to make the biryani? Yes, you're going to work 8 hours a day. Great. And what's your salary? That goes into your biryani making, right? That's a cost, correct? Correct. And you're going to cut, you're going to wash, you're going to clean, you're going to stir, you're going to whatnot. Those are activities. So every activity has a cost, right? In a factories, in order to make the water bottle, so somebody has to cut. You have to bring a cutting guy, and you pay him like $13 per hour or $20 per hour, and that is a cost, right? And how much he cuts a day. So all this will be going into the cost of making the water bottles, right? This activities. So basically, if you in a production process, there are 3 M's, which is machinery, manpower, materials. You have to remember this. Okay, there are 3 direct costs when you manufacture something, which is materials, manpower, and machinery. So material, obviously, it's raw material. Without raw material, you can't manufacture anything. Finished goods. Services are different, right? Services, you don't need a raw material. But if you're making a goods, finished goods, then you have to have a raw material, right? That's a direct cost. Why direct cost? Because it's directly contributing to the production, right? So if you're making like, let's say 100 boxes of biryani, the rice you're going to post goods, your rice, issuing the rice to the kitchen, you have a direct contribution, right? It doesn't go anywhere, correct? That's direct cost. The chicken, the yogurt, the mint leaves, whatever it is, everything is a direct cost, right? Direct raw materials, direct materials. Next is your machinery. In this case, machinery. What's the cost of a machinery? Depreciation. The machinery depreciates, right? Your stove depreciates, your refrigerator depreciates, right? You have a mixie, grinder, everything depreciates, right? That cost goes into making biryani. It's easier. Right? How do you calculate? You calculate entire year. I bought a brand new mixie in the beginning of the year. At the end of the year, based on the depreciation method, it depreciates, let's say 10%. You take the 10%, divide by 365 days in a year, and then divide by 24 hours in a year, right? And then calculate for number of hours you spend, use biryani, use this damn mixie to make biryani, right? All these allocation models, proportionate allocation, right? That's called activity types, activities, right? For machinery, sorry. We talked about raw material, we talked about machinery. The third one is manpower, which I said, Kumar is going to take a day off and spend all his day, roll up his sleeves, and he's going to cut the onions. Okay, so his cost will go into this, right? There's a manpower, there's a direct cost. Great. That is not what it is, right? There is additional cost, which is your electricity, your water. There's no way you can quantify how much water you spend for making biryani, right? Because you pay $60, $70 per month for the entire showering, bathing, mopping, whatnot, everything. So that's your overheads. And then you have, besides electricity, and you have water, electricity, and maybe the manager's salary and the rental, right? You pay rental for the whole house, right? And you have to take that into consideration. How much you have to pay for the kitchen per day, per hour. You take that as a cost, right? In actual matter of fact, in a costing, this is what people do. Nothing is free, right? So even a take from a father, it's not free, because that is always in written that I have to give him, right? Which can be quantified. So in finance and accounting, there is no free lunch. Okay, so you have to convert the expectation into numbers and put in your balance sheet as a payables or receivables. Okay, so far clear? Any questions?
No, I don't have.
I know you have a lot of questions, right? So I know I covered so much things in a few minutes, I know, but all this just a given introduction on what is this is the some of you, this is the first class, right? First session. Okay, so let's live with that. I mean, basically I started with how the procurement, what is the source of a procurement, right? Why people procure it? Sales forecast, right? Sales forecast based on a sales forecast, correct? Okay, now we're going to do is purchasing. So what I am going to do here is I'm sharing my screen. So let's create a purchase order. You see my screen, right? You guys see my screen?
Yes.
See my screen, Ashwita, Saravanan?
Yes, yes.
Ashwita, you? Maybe on mute?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, the first thing is, it's a very, very important, this is an important interview question everybody will ask. What are the accounting entries in a procurement cycle? In a what cycle? Procurement cycle. It's also called P2P. Why they call it P2P? Procure to pay. You are procuring the goods from the vendor and then you are making payment to the vendor. That's called procure to pay. Now it has become quote to pay, Q2P, because before even procure, you receive quotation from the vendors. Okay, then you receive quotation from the vendors, then you create purchase requisition. After purchase requisition, create purchase order. After create purchase order, you send it to the vendor. Once you send it to the vendor, then he sends goods to your warehouse, which is a good receipts. After the good receipts, he sends the invoice, then invoice receipt, then you match whether as per the purchase order, you receive the goods. The goods are in same specific, exactly the number of quantities the same, specification is the same as per the purchase order. And then once you receive the invoice, then you check whether you receive the invoice for the same quantity of goods you receive. Otherwise, they will not make a payment, correct? So you place an order for 100 quantity for some one item, and then he sent a 90. Okay, you received it. Doesn't matter. You don't want to send it back because you still can receive it. You received it, but he is sending the invoice for $100, 100 quantity. Then you will outrightly say reject it, right? You will say no. So, but in SAP, you will take the invoice and post this invoice into SAP, but because it is higher than the received quantity, system will automatically block. Why it's blocking? Because we don't want to pay system. Otherwise, system would just pay to the invoice automatically when this is due, correct? So that's called logistics invoice verification, three-way matching, two-way matching. So three-way matching means if the invoices verifies in the logistics cycle, it says it verifies against your purchase order, it verifies against your good receipts, it verifies against your invoice receipt. All the three documents should be the same. The information contained should be same or it should reconcile, correct? I don't know why this guy is calling. Once again. Recording. Great. So I talked about the logistics invoice verification. So you have to make sure when somebody receives the goods, they have to make sure that it is as per the order quantity, as per the order specification, and the invoice also received as per the goods received. Okay, if anything mismatches, the payment will not be sent. The payment will be blocked. Great. So with that, I am going to go and start creating a purchase order. All right, so first trend, so, and you probably guys know this, right? I don't have to tell you this. This is SAP log on screen, and this is where users, this is for users who enter the transaction codes, right? There are some configurations here as well, but this is generally for all the posting entries, running reports. Okay, now where is the backend? So you go to SPRO, SPRO. They call it SPRO. Some people say SPRO. You go to reference, SAP reference implementation guide. IMG stands for implementation guide. If you go there, I'm sure people have, I'm sure you guys have been here before. It just takes time. So all this is your SAP IMG configuration guide. Okay, implementation guide. So this is where you have all your financial accounting, FSCM, controlling, enterprise controlling, real estate, flexible real estate, quality management, materials management, supply distribution, sales and distribution, whatnot, production planning, right? Project systems, everything will be there. So I'm not going to get there. So for me, I always teach people start with the purchase order process. Okay, so what the first thing is, you're going to create a purchase order, SCME23N, transaction guide ME23N. So you can actually add into the favorites. See here, if go here, click here, right click here, insert transaction. Okay, so that next time you come in here, you don't have to search for it. It says ME23N, it'll be there. Okay, I actually added twice. So click on ME23N, the transaction code again, ME23N. Now you can see also from here. Transaction is ME23N. This is the backend program which the transaction code is calling. Okay, great. So this is the earlier created purchase order. It always comes in display. Okay. Now you're going to press the create button. Or what you can do, you can go to ME21N. 21N. ME21N is for creation. See, create purchase order. So here's a simple thing to remember. Anything that ends with N. Okay. Sorry, N1 is for create, 2 is for change, 3 is for display. Okay, for example, sorry. So ME21, ME21N, ME22N, ME23N. So if you look at this here, a lot of transaction codes. This is something easy to remember. A lot of transaction codes in SAP, when it ends with 1, it is for create. It ends with 2, it's for change. You want to change something. Then 23 is for display, right? for display. Great. Okay, for example, this is ME21N. In a while I use this guy, so guess I have to use. And I don't know how to get this off. Okay, got it, right? So ME21 is create. ME22N is change, right? ME22N is for change. See, it's just change mode. Okay. ME23N is for display. ME23N. It displays. So the difference is, when it displays, all the columns are grayed out. See, all the columns are grayed out. How do you know this is not in change mode? Because all the columns are grayed out. If I go to ME22N, if I go to ME22N, which is for change, see, all the columns are open, which means I can make some changes, correct? That's the difference. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to use this purchase order as a reference and create a new purchase order for you guys. Okay, so the company code that we're going to use today is 333. You can take it down, 333. So what is the company code? Anybody? What's the company code? Anybody?
333.
Yeah, what is correct? What is the use of a company code? Sorry, my wrong question. What is the purpose of a company code?
We can easily pull out our company with the company code.
What is the purpose of a company code?
Jay, can I tell you?
Please.
Company code is used for the to prepare the financial statement like P&L and balance sheet for the external reporting.
Great. Yes. So company code is a legal entity which can have its own reporting system, which has its own reporting requirements, right? That's called company code, legal entity. Company code is a legal entity. So basically, for example, company code is a very important concept for all the financial people because that is in organization structure. So let me ask you this. Now you're registering a company. So you want to start a business. Okay, what is the first thing you guys do? Ashwita?
Yes. So
What is the first thing you do?
when we open a company, right?
Right.
So we register it.
Correct. Why register it?
To legally say that this company belongs to us, we register it. And yeah, we get all the legal name, address, and like other details.
Okay, so company code, the reason why you're doing this is because you are the company, you just can't do this by yourself, right? The company has to be set up with the government, right? Because it's a legal entity, you are liable to pay shareholders because the public is involved, right?
Yes.
Right. So you can let's say you're going to borrow a loan from the bank, you have to be regulated. Somebody has to, right? It has to be all regulated, right? So the legal entity means you have your own reporting requirements. So you report to the IRS, you report to the shareholders, you report to whatnot, sales tax, everything. You have a separate entity. So when you call the IRS, you have to tell your company name, like you guys do, right? So we are individual people with a name. Similarly, company is a legal entity with its own name. That's called a legal entity. The company code is responsible for its own reporting. It's an organization unit with its own reporting requirements. That's called company code. Great. So with that, So I'm going to go and where is my purchase order creation? This is my purchase order creation. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, so this obviously the recording I will share. Okay, then you will
Jay, Jay,
yes.
Jay. So do you mean like a company? A company has been assigned with a numerical number, and that is called as a company code, or
Correct,
it's
correct. So exactly. So company code is a 4-digit. Good question. Company code is a 4-digit alphanumeric in SAP you create. So for example, Starbucks, right? What is a Starbucks? Is it a company?
yeah, it's a group.
It's a brand. Yes, it's a group, right? Group. Now, under which Starbucks can have many operating companies, right?
Yes.
You will never know, right? If you just go into, there are a lot of distribution one company, supply chain one company, there are a lot of companies, right?
Yes.
20, 30 companies, and they have companies in Canada, Europe, everywhere, right?
Yes.
So that's called company code.
Okay.
So the company code is set up in SAP because it is the one, right? The company code is the one. It's very important. That's in an org structure with its own reporting requirements, right? All the line of businesses, all the plants, all the factories, everything go under the plan, under the company code, correct?
Yes.
So the company code is set up in SAP as a 4-digit alphanumeric code. Okay. So
Okay.
again, typically, if you go and take a class from somebody in India or anywhere, they will start with the company code. Okay.
Yeah.
They will teach all the configuration, which I will not do it.
Okay.
Because the thing is, again, I'm not teaching for the sake of teaching. I'm teaching you for the sake of giving you knowledge, and you go and survive in a company, right?
Yes.
I know what you need. So if I teach the configuration, you'll be wondering why you are learning that. Okay. What is the purpose of learning? What is the purpose of creating company code? So the very important, like I said, for SAP consulting, you have to have functional knowledge. You should know what happens in a procurement department. Then only you can design a solution, right?
Yeah.
Then only you can design a solution for a purchasing department. So I always teach the people all the functional end user business processes. End user business processes. Then once you create the purchase order, post everything, then you can go back and look at the configuration, why things work this way, and what is right, what is system settings. Okay, I can show you that. Great. So so basically what happens is we are going to use the company code 333. Okay, 333. Okay, hit enter. Now when I hit enter, it's coming up, it's opening the purchasing order, purchasing group. So purchasing order is PAPO. Okay, it's all pre-set up already. And purchasing group is PPG. And why there's a purchasing group, why there's a purchasing org, it's very easy, right? It's org structure. So the reason they create org structure is to create a line of responsibilities and make them accountable, correct? In a company, in a Starbucks, will have many purchasing organizations. The reason is they are responsible for purchasing, for example, internationally, purchasing group for domestic, purchasing group for government, procuring from the government, things like this. Okay, and under that there's a purchasing group. For example, somebody purchasing from there's a purchasing or purchasing from money for Colombia, and under which they have smaller purchasing groups, right? They have 100 people. They call similar purchasing groups. Okay, so it's all divide and conquer. So this one thing you have to remember. In SAP, there's a lot of org structures. What structures? Organization structures. Why? Because it's easier to create a line of responsibilities. It's like hierarchy. Okay, there's one person sits on the top, there's a lot of branches. That's called org structure, right? So they create org structure to make the line of responsibilities easier, correct? So with that, so org data. The next is which vendor I'm going to buy from. So basically the vendors created in this company code. Vendors are created for this company code because this vendor has been dealing with this company code. So what I'm going to do, I am pressing this button here. Let me show you again. I go here, I went here, put the screen. See this button, they call F4. You can also press F4 or you click here, it will bring the screen. This is the selecting the vendors. All the vendors you can select. But now I am only selecting for the company code 333. because they were some vendors set up already, created already in this company code 333. So I'm going to find the okay, so I'm going to take any vendor, but I am going to use this vendor because this is one which we already created lots of purchase order for. Okay, see the company code, the country, it says D. D stands for Denmark. This vendor is from Denmark. Okay, I'm selecting this guy. Okay, this guy. So the document date is today. It comes automatically. Okay, great. So I complete.
Okay.
Yes, please.
Sorry to cut you short. So, all those vendors who listed now are all you created them?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, not I created. My guys created.
Within BRAT, right?
Correct.
Okay.
So that's why generally I don't advise you guys to go and create everything new. Just use the existing system.
Okay.
Okay, because like I said, most of the time, 80% of the time, when you go in a company, you'll be doing production support and small enhancements. Okay, you will never be creating company codes or fiscal year variant or posting period variant in your life.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I had doubt because we see so many vendors there. That's why.
Okay. So this is one example, right? When I was beginning, I was started teaching like many years ago. Same thing. I go into the configuration, company code, posting period variant, global parameters, fiscal year variant, field status variant, chart of depreciation, chart of accounts, all the good stuff. 20 days, 30 days, these guys cannot understand anything. The question is, why am we doing this? Why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? Okay. So they cannot see the real picture. Now, when you post a transaction and they understand, oh, this is why we have this created, correct? So fiscal year variant, it's high, it's a good logic. It's very interesting to learn. I taught to lots of people who has no background in IT, no background in pretty much anything. It's a lot of struggle to teach them the fiscal year variant. It takes like a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and they still didn't get it. Fiscal year variant. Why I'm doing this? Why do you have to do this, right? I have to convince them, and they did it. Then I asked myself, so I've been working 20 years. When did I ever create my fiscal year variant? Never in my life. I never created a fiscal year variant in my life. Okay, never. It's only the training. So then that's the time I stop. Okay, I'm not going to teach all this configuration. Okay, I will do this business process. Then I will show them a configuration. Just show them. Okay, because if you go on Google, there's a lot of configuration steps available, but nobody will teach you business, right? Yes or no?
Yes.
Great.
Yeah.
So now I am going to purchase these two materials. So this all set up already, PAP, RM1, okay? And I'm going to buy pure quantity. Let's say I'm going to buy 10,000 units. I just hit enter. I hit enter. Now it says enter plant. It's item 10. This is the material. This is short text. And this is pure quantity, which is in my purchase order. This is measured in kilograms and net price is 280. Where this come from, we will see. Where the price come from, we will see. Okay. Now the material group is material. Now the plant is very important because when I purchase, I have to specify which plant is this going to receive. A company may have 1,000 plants. Why it's so important? Because the plant is important because based on the location, the tax will be calculated. Agree? The tax jurisdiction plays an important part in calculating taxes. Let's say the plant is in Wisconsin, the tax might be different, even the purchasing company in California, right? Right?
Yeah, that's true.
Correct. So the plants are again pre-set up. I am going to select some plants here. 333. Some good guys I've created. So the first one will be, forget about Bangalore, 333. It's a PAP1. The plant is PAP1. I hit enter. It changes to 33 because it's a description. Okay. The plant code is different. The description is different. The plant code is PAP1. The description is 333 Bangalore. So now If you look at this, in any document in SAP, anything in SAP, there is a header and line items. Okay, anything in SAP, any documents, material documents, controlling document, financial document, anything, it has a document type and document header. This is the document type. So once we create a purchase order, the number will be generated, automatically generated. How will be generated? That's what I'm going to ask you questions. Okay, once I teach I'm not teaching the configuration. Once you create this, I'm telling you, you will tomorrow give me the answer. You will, you can. Okay, now here, this is a header information. See, header information. These are the purchase order line items. Why? Header information is common for all the line items, correct? That's called header. So give an example, right? What is a document header? So you receive your utility invoices. You receive invoices, right? Your invoice, like from AT&T, from whatever it is. In the AT&T bill, if you look at on the top portion, there's a bill to your account number, your address, your service, delivery, blah, 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 all this stuff, right? It is in the top. That's called header. Then below which you have all the individual services performed. Your data plan, your voice plan, your text message, right? All this stuff individually, right? That's called line items. So the header is common for all the line items, correct? That's called header. So header means it's common for all your line items. Even if you go to grocery store and buy from a mom and pop store, they give a receipt. The receipt will have header and line items, correct? So that's a very important concept in SAP because you need to understand what is the header, what is the line item, because this you will hear that all the time. Great. So I'm also going to put one more line item. Okay. Even if you don't do this, it will come automatically. So second material I'm buying, PAP RM2. Okay. I'm going to buy again, let's say 3000 quantity. Enter. System is, it says 20 comes automatically. And why it's showing an error? Because it needs a plant. It says enter plant. Okay, I'm going to enter plant. So the next plant I'm going to enter is here, Pune. Okay, PAP2 is the plant code. If I hit enter, which I did, it changes to the text. Great. So storage location you can enter. Again, within the plant, there's a storage location. So plant is the facility under which you can have multiple storage locations. The storage location determine why are you, is it for a restricted stock or non-restricted stock? What is the purpose of this? All this can be defined. Let's not get there. You can also define storage location. Like I said, it's all created. We can choose. For this plant, there are 2 storage locations. And for this plant, again, there is 2 storage locations. That's why there's only one. Okay. Enter. Okay, great. Now, that's pretty much where you're done here. Now, I'm going to save this. Now, here's the thing. Now, when you create a purchase order, what are you buying this for? This is inventory, right? This material you're buying for inventory. When I say inventory, that gets stored in your warehouse, correct? And then used for a future purposes, right? So I am going to save this now. When I save this, if there is any error, system will say, hey, go and fix it. Okay, it's taking time. I just hit save. So what happened? Standard PO created under the number 17805, right? Now, when it says green, green means it's just information. You can double click here, it will expand and say the same thing. Standard PO created. So it's useful to copy. If you want to copy, you can copy from here. Control C. Okay, now. So this is exactly going to do. You're going to create a purchase order. Okay. Today the exercise is you create 10 purchase orders. Okay. With that, now next thing is now you create a purchase order. What you can do, you can go and change ME down to TN. Sorry, ME to ME. What the 20 yen. Okay, so it's showing it's showing a different purchase order, right? So I have to go on, look my own purchase, other purchase, click on other purchase order. Controls V, then you bring the purchase order. Great. Now if you see, it looks different, right? Quantity is showing this. It's showing the total net amount, $2.8 million. Great, because this price is 280, this price is 369, and then these are the condition types. The gross price and cash discount, all this stuff, it shows up. Don't bother. Now go to invoice. Invoice not created yet because we just created the purchase order. Now the thing is, where did the price come from? Where did the price come from? Okay, let's take a look. If you double click this material master, what did I do? This is called material master data. Okay, when I click the material master data, it takes me to the material, display material transaction code. So here I'm going to go to the accounting section. We can click here, look at this guy here. So this guy has a lot of tabs. Okay, I'm sure you have some experience in navigating the screen, some software, so you can do this. I'm going to go to the accounting 2 screen. Actually, no, accounting 1 screen. Okay, it says standard price is 270. So you can look at, if you go to accounting 1, because why it says accounting 1, because it has all the accounting elements, right? Price, you have to calculate the price. When you buy goods, your accounting will post and then it will hit the inventory. Okay, that's called moving price and price control, moving price, standard average price. I will get that. Now it says $270. Okay, great. However, it says $280 here. Why? Why? Any idea?
Is it because of if you buy some quantity of material, then you can buy it for 270?
Right. Right. Basically, what happens is, even though the stock, even though the price is set as 270, but let's say you have a special vendor and who is selling a good quality, or you want to buy something very urgent, you have a special deal with him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so how do you know this? I think if you click here, there's something called info records. Yeah, if you go to info record, PAPRM1, this info record they created for this vendor, for this material, we agree to pay $280 from valid to validity. Okay.
Oh.
So this is called info record. You can create info record. It makes sense, right? Sometimes, even though there's a price, sometimes you can make some leeway, make some flexibility, right?
Okay, there is it mentioned if you buy something below 10,000 quantity or something?
You can, I think you can do that. I don't know. This is a materials management question.
Oh,
But I was just showing you because there's a number. Anything there's a number involved, price involved, prices involved, you should know why.
And is this price given in the pricing or?
Oh, this is not in the pricing. This is coming from, like I showed you. Let's say I'll go here, the next one.
Okay.
Go to the accounting 1 tab here. There's no standard price here, but the moving price is 369.
Okay.
And then there's the price control is V, which is called moving average price. So basically, before you start procuring the material, you determine what the price is.
Okay.
So the price will go there. And in there's something called standard price and moving average price. I will let you know sometime after, later. But for now, this is standard price is set. When I first initially buy, I say this is my price.
Okay.
Okay, let's say if I buy for more than $270, the price will never change.
Okay.
The price here will be the same. If I spend $10 more, it will become my price difference account. It will go to my profit and loss account. It will never change the inventory value. Confused?
No.
Okay.
It's actually clear, but yeah, I mean, I need to know this term, moving price and standard price.
Okay, so that's your homework. Okay.
Okay.
Moving average price and standard price. It's pretty easy.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So great. Now I created purchase order. Next thing is, again, like I said, this is a very common questions. All the Indians will love to ask, what is the procurement cycle. What are the accounting entries in a procurement cycle? Oh, I sent a lot of interview videos. It will be there in almost all the interviews, right? In a purchase order process, there is no accounting document in a purchase order, right? When you create a purchase order, no accounting document, no accounting impact, right? This is just one agreement, right? To the vendor, correct? So again, let me repeat that. When you create a purchase order, there is no accounting document created, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's just an agreement, right? No accounting impact here. I'm just giving a purchase order, doesn't mean anything.
Yes.
Okay, next thing is transaction code MIGO. MIGO, they call it MIGO or MIGO. Okay, so Indians call it MIGO, and here in US they call it MIGO. MIGO, goods received. Very important transaction code. MIGO. Okay, so MIGO is for good received. It says good received. Okay, basically now I place the order. I send the order to the vendor. He is sending me the goods, right? He's sending me the goods. When I send the goods, this is in the warehouse. The warehouse people, they go. All right. And so when there is in the warehouse, the clerk receives the goods. He receives the goods, he go to MIGO transaction code first thing. Then he puts the purchase order. Okay, hit enter. When I hit the purchase order, hit enter, I see this. This comes up automatically, right? Right? But I don't know why it's just showing only one item. Okay, let's see here again. Put 20 here, let's see. Yeah, so this is a purchase order number. I put the purchase order item number 10 or 20. When I didn't put anything, it takes the first one. When I put 20, it takes the second one. Okay, got the point? Any question? Clear, right? In the purchase order, I have two items, 10 and 20. Okay. So when I go to MIGO transaction code, I put the purchase order number here. Copy, pasted it. Hit enter. Okay. So it's actually repeating many times, which is not correct. I can delete this guy, I think. Maybe delete somewhere. Let me not do this. Let me come back again. ME23N. Sorry, MIGO. MIGO. Transaction code MIGO. Okay, I'm going to put the purchase order here. Okay, hit enter. It will bring the first line item. Okay, now again put the purchase order item. Purchase order number again. I put next one 20. Great. So now I am going to receive goods from here. Oh, why is grayed out here? Oh, okay, because of this guy here. Okay, so let's look at this guy. So first line item, the purchase order, good receipt. I'm receiving, let's say 2,000 items. Okay, hit enter. Right? And then the second item, let me go to item number 2 here, I think. Okay, so let me, item number 1. Okay, now this one, let's say I'm receiving 500 items, quantity 500, great. Right? So I received 2,000 from here, first line item, 500 from second line item. I'm going to post this good receipts. Now, if you look at, notice this guy here, there's a moment type, 101. This is very, very important. Moment types are very, very important because moment type determines whenever whenever there's a logistics processing, you post a goods issue or post a good receipts, anything you do with the material, there has to be a movement type. The movement type determines what are you going to do with the material? Why are you moving this material? Why are you goods issuing? Does it impact accounting? Does it impact valuation? Right? All this stuff. That's very important. Okay, now great. So here I'm going to select this guy okay. Item okay. I'm also selecting the item okay. One is okay. Okay, okay. And then I put that item 2. Now both items are okay. Items are okay. Materials are relevant for being weighed. Just forget about this. So you have to make sure when you have to select the items okay and okay here. Item okay. Both 1 and 2. Okay, now I can do quantity. It's already entered. Second line item where I'm receiving to this plant. This is location. And you know the purchasing order data. It's there, and it's saying weighing should be done. It says the material is relevant for being weighed. Sometimes when you receive goods, you have to weigh, right? You have to weigh and receive the goods, right? Let's say he is saying this is 100 kilos or 100 and 110. So did you really weigh it? Maybe not. Now I'm weighing it. I said, yes, I weighed it. The gross weight could be this much. I can put TAR. I think TAR stands for, what do you call this? Allowance. Okay, whatever it is. Now I'm good. I'm going to save this. Yeah, delivery note, you can enter something because it's partial, right? You can enter. Now I'm going to, first thing is check. It's a deficit of PU order quantity 8,000, 8,500. That's fine because it says deficit, because even though you ordered for 10,000, you only received 2,000. Even though you ordered this material for 2,000, 3,000, you only received 500. That's okay. This is the first good receipt I'm going to post. See, material document 7000113 posted. Great, right? Material document. Now I want to look at the material document. The transaction code I'm going to use is MB03. 7, it comes automatically. It just populates the last. Okay, this is the material document. So the material document, basically the warehouse guy, when he received the goods, this document, like he's entering, right? How much quantity he received, what is the posting date, what is the delivery note, right? And who created this? It just shows what's a PO number. Okay, what's the movement type? 101, 101. What's the 101? It says plus because you are receiving in. Plus means the direction is coming in. So the inventory goes up. Inventory goes up. Okay. Now here, accounting documents. We click accounting documents. This is where the fun thing starts. Okay. First thing is a material document that goes to only in the warehouse. Then it is making a corresponding accounting entry because it is impacting the valuation. Now your inventory goes up. How much? $540,000. And like I said, it goes to the price difference account because we are paying $10 more. Correct? You are paying $10 more for the material, whereas it is only $270. It says $270, whereas you pay $280 per kilogram, and then the $10 times 20,000 kg, 2,000 kg goes here as a price difference account. Okay, these are the accounting entries. Then you have to do or die, have to memorize. Okay, and for this is the second line item, second line PO line item. There's no price difference because the price is the same. Okay, now the fun thing is you can also change the layout and bring in more details here. For example, see, change layout. So I know I'm like going really fast. I'm covering a lot of things. This will be easy, like, we can do this like next 10 hours and try to understand this, okay? Slowly, and you have to master it. Purchasing document, and it has to have an item number. Come on. This line item number. Okay, it shows the purchase order number. The item number should be, I think we have to find which one is which. Let's see, change layout. You can go to the change layout and bring in more information. That's what I was trying to do. Okay, the layout is very important, so you can hide and bring the necessary information. Item number, line item number, maybe. Item. Let's put this. Yeah, see, this item number 10, the item number 20 from the purchase order. This is the accounting entry for the first item. This is the accounting entry for second item. Okay. Okay, great. This is the accounting document, and these are the journal entries posted, and these are the GL accounts. Okay, so you're going to just do the same thing for the GRIR clearing account. Now you do the same thing. Okay. Now the next thing is, again, this is a very beginning. Okay. MIRO. Next thing is MIRO. First we did MIGO, second thing MIRO, which is the posting of invoices. Now the guy has sent me the invoice. We receive the goods. He sent me the invoice, right? I'm going to post invoice now. Same purchase order. When I go to the screen, I'm going to put enter. Give the purchase order number. It says what is the invoice date. Invoice date could be anything, but I'm going to put today's date or the day he put the invoice date. Because the day he print the invoice, right, could be few days before, right? By the time it comes here, maybe it takes 2-3 days. Hit enter. See, it only brings in the information for the goods received, correct? These are the amount these are the quantity we received. When I hit the enter, I didn't do anything. I just put the purchase order. System automatically determines this is the goods received, which means you can only post an invoice to this much. Correct? Make sense? So what will be my invoice? What will be my invoice now? For this 2000 kg, store lemon 560 plus 184, which means 504, sorry, 560 plus 184.5, 744,500. Specific payment period baseline date. So because it did not give a payment terms, I'm going to put a payment terms here. So payable, let's say immediately due net. Usually it comes from the vendor master. Okay. That's it. It says terms of payment change. That's okay. Hit enter. If you see LO strip here, there's a warning message. You can just hit enter and go. Again, if you see LO strip here, there's a warning message. Just hit enter and go. Now I'm just going to save this. Yeah, tax encounter. Again, it's a warning message. I'm going to hit enter and see what I want. So document number 5100 posted, but it says blocked for payment. Can somebody tell me why it's blocked for payment?
Is it because of matching?
It is not matching. That's why it's blocked for payment.
Yeah, because of not matching.
Correct. But it is matching with the quantity received, right?
Yeah.
So why it's blocked?
Invoice
is waiting for approval.
I think there's something to do with the tax. Remember, it says tax error.
Yes.
Okay, the price is not correct. So how do we? Let me go to MB03. This guy, my accounting document 50056. So to look at the accounting documents, to look at the material document, the transaction code MB03, right? To look at the financial document, the transaction code is FB03. FB03. Okay, M stands for material, F for finance, financial documents. We have to use FB03. So this is just by mistake. Okay, so this is the document I created. Now, what we also put invoice document. I don't know what is invoice document number. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to Control C, Control V. We have FS10N. This is for balance display, FS10N. So this is, we posted into, see, that's the balance. So what did you do was, right? I went to the GL line item display for the GRIR account. The GRIR account, if you look at this, 560, 560. Okay. These are the documents posted today. Is it today? Yeah, correct. This is for 86, 86, 560, 560. This is good. 2000, 4000. This is what's not matching. The invoice is not matching. Okay. Let's see. So you can see if I go here, select this display. Okay. Vendor. It says blocked. See, payment block is R. Why? Invoice verification. So the invoice is not matching for the goods receipt. Okay. We can do some research and say why, because that's not, let's not get confused here. So I posted invoice. So what did you do? I create a purchase order. I posted good receipts. I posted invoice receipt. Okay. Now the accounting entries are, okay, I wanted you to do this. So once you do this, next step is go to ME23 and purchase order display. Okay. Purchase order display. This is the purchase order. Now we go to purchase order history. Earlier, the purchase order history wasn't here. Now, if I go to purchase order history, I see this here. The purchase order history means you see, no, it's a history. What are the transactions posted? First is WE. W stands for good receipts. Okay, good receipts, moment type 101. Like I said, moment type is very important for any logistics transactions. Moment of goods. Now, this is the material document number. It says 2000 quantity and blah, blah, amount is this. Okay. The next one is the invoice receipt. Okay, invoice receipt is also same. 2000 quantity 560 for the first item. Second item is also same 184 184. But I think the payment block is for, we have to find out why it's blocked. Maybe again it's not matching with the purchase order. Ashwita might be right. So now we have this, both the documents are created. Now the good, now what I want you to do is once you go here, double click here, material document number. Okay, it takes you to material document number. The very important thing that you should know is how you can get to the accounting document number. Go to document info. There you go, FI documents. Okay, take it down, write it down. Okay, I want you to write it down here. Inventory account is debited. GRIR account is credited. Price change difference is debited. This is second line item, inventory debited, GRIR credited. How do you know debit and credited? Credit always have a negative sign. Credit will have a negative sign, correct? That's how I know it's a credited. Okay, positive, debit will have positive sign, credit will have a negative sign. Now, great, go back. Now, this is the invoice document, double click here. And again, go to the accounting document. Here, this looks different. Earlier, this is a different screen, this is a different screen. Follow up on documents. Click on follow up on document, this goes to accounting documents. See here, vendor is credited, your GRI account is debited for both two line items. This is one line item, this is for the second PO line item. Okay, now we have to worry about, we have to clear the GRIR clearing. Now with that, I want you to guys, the next step is we will do GRIR clearing, we will make the payment. For now, I want you to create a 10 purchase orders. Okay. And then similarly, post partial goods. Goods, post partial. Okay. Any questions?
Jay, it's a general question.